My name is Azhar, and this is my pawn shop. I work here with my old man and my son, Big Hoss. Just kidding. But what isn't a joke is the incredible value you can find in everyday objects. People come into my shop all the time with things they think are junk, but every once in a while, something truly special comes through that door. That's why today, we're counting down the rarest and most valuable Canadian coins ever minted. We're talking about pieces of metal that look like pocket change, but are worth more than a new car. You just never know what you've got. These aren't just your average coins you find in your couch cushions. Some of these coins are worth hundreds of thousands, even millions, and are the holy grail for collectors. These are the pieces that numismatists, that's a fancy word for coin collectors, dream about finding. They tell a story about a specific moment in history, a mistake at the mint, or a design that was almost lost forever. The history behind these coins is just as valuable as the metal they're stamped on, and that's what makes them so fascinating. So, before you go spending that loose change on a coffee, you might want to take a closer look. You could be holding a small fortune without even realizing it. We're going to walk you through what makes these specific coins so rare and what you need to look for. Let's see if you have one of these treasures hiding in your collection. You never know what's going to come walking through that door, or what's already sitting in your piggy bank. Alright, first up, we've got a real heavy hitter. This is the 1921 50-cent piece, and let me tell you, it's earned its nickname, the King of Canadian Coins. In the world of coin collecting, having a king means it's the top of the food chain, the one everyone wants but almost no one can get. The story behind this one is fantastic. Back in the early 20s, the demand for 50-cent pieces was super low, so the Royal Canadian Mint just sat on a huge stockpile of them, including almost all the ones minted in 1921. You follow me? They had all these coins, and nobody wanted them. So what happens when you have a warehouse full of something nobody wants? You get rid of it. In 1929, the master of the mint decided to melt down the massive inventory of 1920 and 1921 50-cent coins to reuse the silver. They thought they were just cleaning house, being efficient. What they were actually doing was creating a legend. It's estimated that only about 75 of these 1921 coins survived the meltdown, making them incredibly rare. When you're talking about a survival rate that low, you're talking about a true collector's piece. Finding one of these in the wild is like finding a needle in a haystack the size of Canada. The key identifiers are obvious, but crucial. You're looking for the profile of King George V on the front and that all-important 1921 date on the back. If you find one, you're not just holding 50 cents. Depending on the condition, you could be holding a coin worth over $200,000. I've seen these go for big money at auction. It's the kind of thing that makes you want to check every old coin jar you see. Next on our list is a coin so rare, it's practically a myth. We're talking about the 1936 dot cent. Now, you're probably thinking, a penny? How valuable can a penny be? Well, when only 3 are known to exist in the world, the answer is extremely valuable. This isn't just any penny. It's a transitional piece born out of a royal crisis. In 1936, King Edward VIII abdicated the throne, which threw a wrench in the mint's plans. They had prepared dies for 1937 coins with his image, but now they couldn't use them. It was a real mess. So, while they waited for the new dies featuring King George VI, the mint had a problem. What if they ran out of 1936 dated coins? To be prepared, they took some 1936 cent dies and added a tiny, almost invisible detail, a small raised dot just below the date. This dot was a secret mark to show that these coins were actually struck in 1937, even though they said 1936. It was a clever little solution to a big royal headache. As it turned out, they didn't need them, and nearly all of these dot cents were melted down. Only 3 known examples survived, making this one of the ultimate prizes in Canadian numismatics. One of them sold at auction for over $400,000. 400 grand for a penny. That's the power of rarity. The dot is everything. Without it, you just have a common 1936 penny. But with that tiny little bump of metal, you have a certified treasure. It just goes to show you, sometimes the smallest details make the biggest difference. You need a good eye and maybe a little bit of luck to spot something like this. You might be noticing a pattern here. The same situation that created the legendary dot cent also gave us its sibling, the 1936 dot dime. Just like with the pennies, the Royal Canadian Mint was in a bind after King Edward VIII abdicated. They needed to be ready to produce more 10-cent pieces if demand spiked in early 1937, but they couldn't use the new dies with the wrong king on them. It was a real logistical nightmare for the folks at the mint, but for collectors today, it was the start of something incredible. Their solution was the same: take the existing 1936 dime dies and add a small dot to signify they were struck in 1937. This was their stopgap measure, a temporary fix, until the proper George VI dies were ready to go. And just like the cents, the demand they anticipated never materialized. The mint ended up with a bunch of these specially marked dimes they didn't need, and the vast majority was sent to the crucible to be melted down and recoined. History was almost erased. Only a handful, we think about 5, of these 1936 dot dimes are known to have survived. That puts them in the same league of rarity as the dot cent. When you're talking about a population of 5, every single one is a superstar. To identify it, you're looking for that crucial dot located just below the bow in the wreath on the reverse side of the coin, right near the date. These coins regularly fetch 6 figures at auction, with high-grade examples commanding prices well over $150,000. It's another case where a tiny mark separates a common coin from a collector's dream. Our last coin is a bit more modern, which proves you don't always have to look in 100-year-old jars to find treasure. This is the 1969 large date dime. This is a classic story of a mint error, a mix-up on the production floor that created an accidental collectible. In 1969, the Royal Canadian Mint was producing dimes as usual. However, for some reason, a small number of dimes were struck using a die that was intended for a different coin, likely a test piece or a foreign coinage die. This alternate die had a date that was noticeably larger than the standard one used for the millions of other dimes that year. This wasn't a planned variation like the dot coins. It was a pure accident. Someone grabbed the wrong tool for the job. These large date dimes got mixed in with the regular small date dimes and went right out into circulation. Nobody noticed at first. It took a sharp-eyed collector to spot the difference, and once the word got out, the hunt was on. The thing is, so few were made that finding one is a real challenge. We estimate that only about 15 to 20 of these have ever been found. So, how do you spot one? You need to look closely at the 9 in the date 1969. On a regular dime, the top loop of the 9 is small and almost closed. On the rare large date variety, the loop is much bigger and more open. It's a subtle difference, but it's everything. Because these went into circulation, most are pretty worn, but even a beat-up one is valuable. A high-grade example though, you're looking at a value of $10,000 to $25,000 or more. It just goes to show, even a mistake can be worth a fortune. So there you have it. 4 of the rarest and most valuable coins in Canadian history. From the king of Canadian coins that survived a massive meltdown to the accidental large date dime, each one tells a unique story. It really makes you think about the history that passes through our hands every single day. Most of the time, a dime is just a dime. But sometimes, it's a piece of history worth a small fortune. The lesson here is simple. Always check your change. Rare coins can look almost identical to regular ones, but tiny details make all the difference. That little dot, That slightly larger number, it's easy to overlook if you're not paying attention. If you think you found one of these coins, or any other coin you think might be valuable, the next step is crucial. Don't try to clean it. You could destroy its value. The best thing you can do is take it to a reputable dealer or a grading service. If you think you found one, get it authenticated and graded. They'll put it in a protective case and give you a definitive statement on its condition and authenticity, which is what you need if you want to sell it. It's a fascinating world, and the thrill of the hunt is what keeps collectors going. You just never know when or where one of these lost treasures will turn up next. It could be in an old estate sale, a forgotten collection, or right there in your pocket. Which coin surprised you the most? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more rare finds. You never know what we'll be looking at next.